Hey everybody, Tire Metalhead Weatherman here. Just a quick update before I get out of here this morning for work. We already have blizzard conditions ongoing over here out towards the east of the Rockies here. Blizzard warnings in effect, and there's actually a meso discussion here too. I'm not really able to click on it right now, unfortunately. I'm gonna try and do this little number right here. Nope, that isn't working. So we'll probably just have to switch over. But this is the snowstorm that we're looking at right now, and this is what will likely end up being the catalyst for our severe weather as we push later into the afternoon. Storms could start to fire around Houston, where there's actually quite a bit of tornadic potential here, and then eventually this is going to spread off to the east over evening into the overnight hours here. Also, a little bit of a shocker here, but also not really one because it's 29 degrees over here in Atlanta. So we're actually seeing some mixed precipitation over here, even towards parts of Arkansas here, stretching into Mississippi and Alabama. Maybe a few, maybe a chance of seeing a few flurries or two around my area, which will be a surprise. If I see any of that, I might try and sneak a little short in for you guys. But that being said here, let's quickly go ahead and take a look at our forecast as a whole here. And we'll talk about this at some point because, like I said, there's a lot to talk about with these next couple of days. I'm mainly going to be focused on today, though, which will be Monday. So here's a look at our enhanced risk. Pushed it a little further off to the east, which I find interesting. I really think that some people might be down. Some of these guys may be downplaying parts of Houston. Not trying to be critical, super critical of the Storm Prediction Center, National Weather Service, but I really think there's a chance of a few stronger tornadoes here off to the west as well. So our hatch risk has remained the same, and we also have a hatch risk for wind as well. Hail probabilities remain the same. Not too much going on in the way of hail, I don't think, but earlier towards the day around Houston, I think that's where our probabilities might be a little higher. And I thought the lapse rates were a little bit more sufficient to maybe get an enhanced risk. Kind of hard to say right now. And a big change for tomorrow. Oops, talked about tomorrow. Just thought I'd at least try to bring it up at the very least. The enhanced risk has actually grown in size notably, especially towards the panhandle and the northeastern peninsula of Florida as well. It needs to be on the lookout here. All hazards are in play here. Couple of different areas now with significant tornado threats. This one will be over to the overnight over here towards southern Georgia, Alabama, and parts of the Florida panhandle here. And then the other one is going to be off the Georgia, South Carolina line and up the coast of the Carolinas here. So a lot of weather to keep track of here. We'll see how the streaming schedule goes, my work schedule. Very large enhanced risk for wind. And, of course, the hail threat's going to be rather minimal. So going back into today, we're going to take a quick look at the wind, at the not the wind, but the wintry threat here before we start talking severe weather. It's not going to be a whole lot of parameters we look at. This isn't going to be a long video, but this is what we have going on pretty much right now. High winds are also prevalent with these contour lines here, so blizzard conditions are going to be expected throughout a pretty good chunk of the day here. So not going to be the best time to be out over here if you're towards western Kansas, parts of eastern Colorado here, maybe even the far reaches of the west Oklahoma panhandle here, maybe even North Texas gets into the action too. Then also here's our severe weather threat. Starts pretty early in the day from the looks of it. Kind of looks like it doesn't ramp up till about 21Z, which would be about maybe 2 or 3 p.m. Central Time, and then picks up from that point, and then off to the races we go from that point. So from that point onward, let's go ahead and look at our parameters real quick. This is what our instability is currently looking like. Really rich instability off Texas, and that's why I think that there's still a chance that we could get a few stronger tornadoes there. I really think the instability is kind of being downplayed. The storm mode is really going to be the question here. I think convection could be the inhibiting factor, and I think that's why the enhanced risk hasn't really stretched any further off to the west here. But I do think the potential is there. The kinematics are definitely there. It's just really going to depend on storm mode. As we go through the evening here, of course, instability just doesn't seem to go away, and then only would ramp up in the following day. If we look at 0 to 1 kilometer bulk shear, we're going to see some pretty impressive numbers here, to say the least, especially as we get later into the day. And this is what really concerns me. This could also be a slightly inhibiting factor, very slight inhibiting factor, but not very much of one. This wasn't if this skew T wasn't contaminated here, it wouldn't be a huge problem here. Being concerned, it wouldn't be a thing about me being concerned about the tornado threat here, or it would be a thing. Can't speak worth anything right now, but looking at the hodograph here, this is just a good idea of what the wind field looks like at the 0 to 3 kilometer area here. That's no joke whenever you see a loop like this. So like I said, could be a pretty dangerous day here if things verify. And then of course that threat exists and persists into the overnight and beyond. So like I said, it's gonna get pretty wild. It could get pretty wild here. I'm not saying that it's a guarantee. There's a pretty good chance that it will, but you never know. These weather systems always have a little surprise, always tend to surprise, especially during this time of year. So again, take a quick look at the significant tornado parameter, and then we'll look at the reflectivity real quick and we'll be out of here. So this is what we're looking at early in the day. You can see some pretty high values again over here towards Texas. I never really read too much into the STP because it's just showing where conditions are most favorable for tornadoes, and a lot of that is based off of kinematics and thermodynamics, but there's other environmental factors, of course, that go into that. Does this mean that you are guaranteed to see a strong to violent tornado? Not really. In fact, I would say no. But that being said, though, still, when you see these numbers in an environment where you're expecting storms, that's when you need to pay a little bit closer attention. And that's exactly what the possibility will be here through today and definitely into tomorrow. I think today kind of leans a little bit into the damaging wind threat a little bit more personally, but we'll see what happens with that. Last but not least, we'll look at our updraft velocity with the composite reflectivity. And interesting thing to note here, these storms are looking a little bit more discrete than they did yesterday on some of the other model runs we were looking at. So there is some concern on my part that if we can get this kind of mode here, we might see an increase in tornadoes. Will it be a tornado outbreak? Time will only tell. That's to be determined. But it's looking a little bit more like it's going to take longer for these storms to consolidate into a line, which could potentially be trouble there. So we'll have to see how this plays out, but based off what I'm seeing off model guidance, there are some concerning signals. And then, of course, we know what to expect for tomorrow. Linear mode, and then maybe towards the back half of Tuesday, we could see a bit of discrete cells over here towards the coastlines of the Carolinas. But that's it, guys. That's all I got for you. Hopefully I can get this video up. If I do, definitely make sure you hit that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing, and then also hit that share button. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you a bunch. I'll see you guys soon. It's been Metalhead Weatherman. Take care. Have an awesome day, and stay safe.